In this case, to never start means to never invest in Bitcoin. If you have your money and it's invested in not Bitcoin, you never started. You have to put your capital into Bitcoin. And then the week dying along the way, okay, well, you did a stupid deal with a loan shark and he broke your legs because you borrowed money for 4 weeks at 37%. 21 is the winning hand. You're sitting at a blackjack table and you get a king and an ace. You can't lose. We've got the winning hand, 21 in 21 years. You know it? There's only one way to lose, and that's not to play the game.
Hey guys, welcome to Everyday Finance, what may be the most compelling analysis of Bitcoin ever. Michael Saylor portrays it as a once-in-a-generation monetary revolution rather than merely a technological advancement. He contends that Bitcoin is digital gold designed to be decentralized, finite, and incorruptible rather than just a new asset class. Bitcoin stands out as a mathematically guaranteed store of value in a world where fiat currencies are continuously depreciating and monetary institutions are becoming less trustworthy. According to Saylor, Bitcoin is the most secure and scarcest monetary network in history because of its fixed quantity of 21 million coins. It is unstoppable since it is not governed by any government, business, or central bank. He likens it to a lifeboat amidst a sea of collapsing currencies, safeguarding wealth from inflation, unstable political environments, and careless monetary policy. Saylor views Bitcoin as more than simply a hedge. It is hope, a nonviolent revolution in which individual economic freedom is restored and money is protected by code. This is about replacing a flawed system with something essentially superior. Not just about investment returns. This is the strongest argument for why Bitcoin is important and why it has the potential to change the world. Regardless of your level of familiarity with cryptocurrency, let's get started.
How are you going to do it? What is your Bitcoin strategy? You need a 21-year plan, right? If you have the vision, but you don't have a plan, you're just dreaming, right? You're not going to get there by talking about it. You need clarity. You need to know what's going to happen. You need courage. You need to be willing to take a risk. You need to put your own economic interest at risk. You're going to need to take a courageous step. And then you need to take action. Clarity, courage, action. People that understand Bitcoin buy Bitcoin. People that don't understand Bitcoin talk about Bitcoin. So what are you going to do? You're going to build a long-term plan based on disciplined work, responsible finance, sound engineering, and Bitcoin. So I'm going to lay out a few possible options for you here, and then you can decide what you want to do and how aggressively you want to do it. Let's start with this one. DCA, dollar cost averaging. What is the strategy? The strategy is work carefully for the next 21 years, buy 50,000 US dollars worth of Bitcoin each year, increase your savings by 5% a year, and then hold the Bitcoin. That's a strategy. What happens if you do that? Okay, well, you can see your investment's going to gradually increment by the 5%. Over the 21 years, you'll end up putting $2 million of cash into this investment. And what's your outcome? You're going to end up with 1.9 Bitcoin. It's going to be worth $40 million. Okay, $40 million. How does that compare to other strategies? Well, if you take the same money and you put it into the 60-40 portfolio, if you're a conventional investor, if you take the advice of your financial advisor, you will have $4 million. If you put it in the S&P index, don't diversify out of that, you're going to have $6 million. If you actually invest in Bitcoin, but then every time Bitcoin doubles, you rebalance the portfolio. If you're responsible and you engage in that rebalancing, you'll have 15 million. If you let Bitcoin run by a factor of 10 and then you take money off the top and you rebalance that way, you'll have 28 million. And if you just buy the Bitcoin and don't think about the rest, you have 40. So the difference between conventional and Bitcoin is a factor of 10x. That's the DCA strategy. What's the next strategy? Leverage. Borrow $1 million up front. Pay less than 10% interest if you can. You're leveraging your future. You're going to tap your underutilized assets. If you got to sell your chairs, sell your chairs. Mortgage your house. Use capital intelligently. Ask your family for a loan. Approach your grandfather, your grandmother, your father, your sister, your uncle, your brother. Ask your friends next. Don't pay off your student loans. Definitely don't pay off your mortgage. Okay, what happens? Well, that's a single jolt of energy, one time. It's worth $190 million to you. Okay, that's actually the payoff of courage, taking a risk. What happens if you combine the two together? You basically borrow the money up front, you DCA, and then every year, you leverage 5% of your existing Bitcoin stack into Bitcoin again. This is what the outlook or the outcome looks like. You're going to end up with $260 million of US dollar value. You end up with approximately 14 Bitcoin, and you can see the recycling of the leverage is a very powerful technique here. What about a financial strategy? Let's just take that a little bit further. What if I just recycle 15% leverage? Not 5%, 15%. You can still survive an 80%, 70, 60% drawdown. What happens? This. You'll be up to $370 million. And then here's a business strategy. I form a company. I maintain 10% leverage. I issue 5% equity every year at a multiple of NAV of 2. 5% dilution a year on a business. Okay, what happens there? Well, you're going to generate $760 million of wealth by issuing equity and by staying a little bit levered. And so you can see it when you consider these comparisons, right? DCA is work hard, invest in Bitcoin. Leverage is use some financial engineering. The DCA plus leverage takes you much further. The financial strategy, of course, is almost 10 times the DCA. And then the business strategy, of course, is extraordinary, almost 20x.
In 2 consecutive transactions, more than $121 million worth of Bitcoin, or a staggering 1,140 BTC, was transferred to Binance in a spectacular turn of events that rocked the cryptocurrency market in less than an hour. This astounding transfer from a single anonymous wallet discovered by Whale Alert shocked the world and sparked discussion and conjecture. The move came as Bitcoin jumped over 2.6% and above $16,000 for the second time in a week, prompting speculation about whether this is a sign of deeper fundamental repositioning or a whale cashing out into strength. The size of the deposit indicates strategic intent, and the whole cryptocurrency world is on high alert, even though the sender's name is still unknown. Despite not being connected to the Binance move, Bitcoin bull Michael Saylor is nonetheless making audacious bets. He recently praised ProCap BTC, Anthony Pompliano's new Bitcoin investment company, which funded $750 million and immediately acquired 3,724 BTC. Pompliano quipped that he ought to leave some Bitcoin for the rest of us, while Saylor remarked, "Strong start." And Saylor isn't slowing down after a huge billion-dollar acquisition. His company, MicroStrategy just added another 245 BTC this week, bringing their total holdings to an astounding 592,345 BTC. One thing is evident as whales shift. Institutions stack and prices soar. Bitcoin is not only erratic, it is thriving, and the power struggles are just growing in size.
First of all, you have a 21-year head start. You know something 99.8% of the capital in the world does not yet know, right? You know that this thing is unstoppable. You know that everybody needs it, and very few people understand it. That's the most valuable information in the world. If I told you Bitcoin was going to 21 million tomorrow, that's not useful. It's too late. I'm giving you something much more valuable. I'm giving you 21 years to leverage that information while everybody else is oblivious, while everybody else is afraid, while everybody else is distracted. You can do something. If you build the right machine, build a money-making machine for yourself. If you build the right machine and you plug it into the Bitcoin network, it will grow stronger every day. It will grow stronger every year. It will compound extraordinary wealth. Extraordinary wealth. And you will change your world. You have a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to change the destiny of everybody in your bloodline, to change the destiny of your community, everything you hold dear, to change the political course of human history. You can do it. You have the opportunity because you have the most valuable information in the world. And the question is, and I would leave you with the thought, it's never too late to do the right thing. I mean, it's very simple. Second big objection, oh, it's a Ponzi scheme, it's tulip bulbs, blah, 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 it seems too good to be true. The four most dangerous words in finance, this time it's different. John Templeton. Well, Sir John Templeton is not on the walls of MIT's great court. They have Newton and Madame Curie and Einstein, and Galileo, but they did not put his name up there because he's not a scientist or an engineer. And the point is, this is different. Fire is different. Water is different. Wind is different. These things, guns, germs, when the Spaniards show up in the New World and 90% of the Native American Indians die because of the germs, it was different. Right? These things are not the same. John D. Rockefeller noticed oil was different. If you're actually basing your strategy on a technology or a paradigm shift, then in fact, it is different. And the point here is Bitcoin is different. That's why it matters. People that tell you it's not different, they don't understand it. Don't be swayed by them. And now, I'm going to end with some final thoughts. There's a saying in the American West, the cowards never started, the weak died along the way. In this case, to never start means to never invest in Bitcoin. If you have your money and it's invested in not Bitcoin, you never started. You have to put your capital into Bitcoin. And then the weak dying along the way, okay, well, you did a stupid deal with a loan shark and he broke your legs because you borrowed money for 4 weeks at 37%. Okay, don't do that, right? It's not an easy journey, but neither is getting in a wooden ship and sailing across the Atlantic an easy journey. The best way to predict the future is to create it. Everybody in this room can watch or wait, or you can go and create the future. Metaplanet's creating a future in Japan. H1's creating a future in Sweden. Smarter Web is creating a future. BTCPrague is creating a future. Everybody here is creating the future. Build a machine, put energy in it, turn the crank, harness the energy. 21 is the winning hand. You're sitting at a blackjack table and you get a king and an ace. You can't lose. We've got the winning hand, 21 in 21 years. You know it? There's only one way to lose, and that's not to play the game.
Strategy, previously MicroStrategy, the business owned by Michael Saylor, is currently on the verge of making history by perhaps being listed on the S&P 500. Financial expert Jeff Walton estimates that the company has a 91% chance of being added by the end of Q2, but there is one important need that needs to be fulfilled until June 30th. Bitcoin must remain above $95,240, with Bitcoin currently trading at $16,200, which is well above the cutoff. Strategy has a good chance of winning. The last obstacle? Over the previous 4 quarters, the company's earnings must have been consistently favorable. Q2 is crucial because the previous 3 quarters saw net losses. Thankfully, new accounting regulations have made it possible for businesses to represent the fair market value of Bitcoin, which has greatly strengthened Strategy's reported figures, particularly now that the cryptocurrency is close to all-time highs. Walton's statement is supported by historical data going back to 2014, which indicates that in just 8.7% of occurrences has Bitcoin plummeted more over 10% during a 6-day period. According to statistics, Strategy's chances are better every day while Bitcoin remains stable. If successful, Strategy would become the second cryptocurrency-related business this year to enter the prestigious S&P 500 index, after Coinbase. This would be a significant milestone in Wall Street's gradual but steady adoption of Bitcoin. Saylor sees it not only as a victory for his business, but also as confirmation of his long-term Bitcoin theory and an indication that cryptocurrency is no longer a fringe concept. The whole public is catching up.